this day and age, it has become increasingly popular for the average consumer to pay for services that they could just do at home. This is especially true in the automotive industry. Hi, I'm Wesley Manning, and I would like to take this opportunity to instruct you on how to change your own oil. Before you even purchase the required materials, such as oil and a filter, you'll need to ensure that you have the required tools to do this job. You'll need a floor jack, jack stands or ramps, metric wrenches, an oil filter wrench, and something to drain the old oil into. It is also helpful if you have some old cardboard laying around and some latex gloves so that you don't get dirty during the job. To start, you need to determine which type of oil and which filter that you need to purchase in order to do this task. You can usually just go to an auto parts store or Walmart and they have a book or an employee there who can look it up on what you'll need, and they'll tell you where to go and what to pick up from the shelf. Also, quick factoid, auto parts stores typically offer a combo deal on an oil and filter combination. Now that you've purchased the oil and required filter, it is time to begin. I recommend changing this oil in your car while it's still warm. That way the oil is less viscous and it's able to drain more easily. Now, depending on whether you have jack stands or ramps that you'll be pulling the car onto, the next step will vary. If you have ramps, simply just drive your car up onto them, put the car in park, and make sure you pull the emergency brake so that it can't roll while it's up in the air. And if you have jacks and if you have a jack and jack stands, you'll simply put the car in park, put the emergency brake on, and jack the car up to the appropriate height to put jack stands underneath it. Make sure that you use jack stands, because if you don't, there's always a chance that it could move and it could tip over or something like that, and you don't want that happening. There's no reason to take unnecessary risks. Now, once the front end of the car is off the ground, it's time to start draining the oil. So you'll need to locate the drain plug underneath the car. I'll pop the hood just to show you where this will approximately be. So you open the hood here. This is the engine here, and directly underneath there's an oil pan. And in the corner, or the edge of that, the lowest point of it, there will be a little plug that you will need to break loose. So once you have this open, or once you have your car up in the air and everything, and you know where the oil plug is, you need to put the drain pan underneath it, and you'll loosen this plug until a little oil starts to drip. At this point, you'll need to push it in a little bit so that it doesn't start dripping all over your hands, because it's hot oil. But you will have gloves on in order to not burn yourself. So you'll start draining it into the pan, and a lot of times the plug will just pop out, drop into the pan. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter if it gets oil all over it. But you'll let it drain for maybe 10 minutes. It does take a while to start dripping slowly. And once you can see that, you go ahead and put the plug back in. Now that this is drained into the pan, and you got the plug back in, you move over to your oil filter, you loosen this, and allow the oil to drain into that same pan. And once you're done, you take that pan out from underneath and you get your new oil filter out, and you take the new oil and you fill that oil filter up to the top. This is very helpful because when you start the car for the first time after the change, you don't want the engine to go dry from oil for a few seconds. In the long run, this can damage your engine. But now that you've got this filled, this oil filter filled, you go ahead and reach up in there and put it in and tighten it about hand tight. It's designed to not be too tight because it's got a rubber seal in there. Now that you've got that, you need to pop your hood again, and you can see here that this is the oil fill cap. You'll take this off, and that's the dipstick that you'll be measuring with. But you start pouring your oil in here. It usually takes around maybe 4 quarts, but it varies between engines. So as you're filling, you'll need to check the dipstick, this right here, to make sure that the oil is at an appropriate level. You fill it all the way to the fill line, and remember that you have to look at it closely because new oil is fairly clear and hard to see on a metal dipstick. Once you got it most of the way filled, you put it down on the ground so that you can make sure that the measurement is accurate, and once you have it filled, it's filled. So you won't need any special tools besides that. That's all there is to it. It's really not much. So changing oil yourself is just one of the many things you can do at home to become more independent and increase your self-confidence. So don't be like the rest of the people out there who take their cars to mechanics for simple jobs. Just do it yourself. Thank you.